The ancient Greeks didn't have therapists. They had tragedies. They didn't have psychology textbooks. They had myths about gods who embodied every human passion, conflict, and possibility. Zeus wielding power, Athena strategizing wisdom, Aphrodite igniting desire, Ares burning with rage, Apollo seeking perfection, Dionysus surrendering to ecstasy. These weren't just stories about supernatural beings. They were a sophisticated psychological system, mapping human nature through divine drama. When Sigmund Freud named the Oedipus complex after a Greek tragedy, he recognized what the ancients knew: myths are mirrors of the psyche. Carl Jung built his entire psychology on these archetypes. Today we're exploring how Greek mythology is actually depth psychology, and what these 3,000-year-old stories reveal about your mind. Greek myths weren't meant to be taken literally. They were teaching tools about human nature. The anthropologist Claude Lévi-Strauss showed that myths address universal human conflicts: order versus chaos, the individual versus the collective, reason versus passion. Greek myths dramatized these tensions through divine characters and heroic journeys. Joseph Campbell analyzed myths worldwide and found the same pattern, which is actually the pattern of our own psychological development. He called it the hero's journey. You start in an ordinary world, get a call to adventure, face trials, confront your deepest fear, and return with wisdom. This is the structure of therapeutic transformation, addiction recovery, or any major life change. Myths like Odysseus's journey or Heracles' labors follow this template because they are remapping how we grow. We see ourselves in these myths. Odysseus represents the struggle to return home to ourselves. Sisyphus embodies meaningless repetition. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung argued myths arise from a collective unconscious inherited psychological patterns shared by all humans. Modern evolutionary psychology agrees. We all share universal emotions and common life challenges. Greek myths just articulate these universals in a memorable form. The Greek gods represent different aspects of our psychology. Zeus, the king of the gods, represents our capacity for leadership, power, and establishing order. His shadow side, tyranny and abuse of power. Hera, his wife, embodies commitment and partnership, but also jealousy and possessiveness. Then there's Athena, the goddess of wisdom and strategy. She's your analytical mind, your ability to plan. But her shadow is being over-intellectual and emotionally cold. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, is our capacity for intimacy and creative expression, but she can also be vain and manipulative. Apollo, the god of light and order, represents our quest for perfection and self-awareness. His temple's inscription was "Know thyself." His dark side is rigid perfectionism and fear of chaos, and you can't have order without its opposite. Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy. He's our ability to let go, to feel deeply, and to experience creative madness. His shadow, addiction and destructive chaos. Ares is our warrior energy, the aggression we need to stand our ground, but his shadow is mindless violence. Artemis is our fierce independence, but taken too far, it becomes isolation. Hephaestus is the craftsman, turning pain into beauty, but he can be bitter and resentful. And Hermes, the messenger, is our communication skill and adaptability, but also our potential for dishonesty. Healthy psychology isn't about identifying with just one god. It's about accessing and integrating all of these energies. Problems arise when one archetype dominates and the others are repressed. Greek tragedy wasn't just entertainment. It was public therapy. The philosopher Aristotle taught that tragedy produces catharsis or purification through experiencing strong emotions like pity and fear in a safe container. By watching Oedipus discover his terrible fate, the audience processed their own forbidden desires and guilt. Tragedy is also focused on hubris, excessive pride that leads to a downfall. This is a profound psychological insight. An unchecked ego creates problems. Modern psychology calls it narcissism or a lack of self-awareness. Every Greek tragedy had a chorus, a group that commented on the action without being part of it. This is exactly like the observing self in mindfulness, the part of you that can witness your own drama without being consumed by it. And the crucial moment in any tragedy is anagnorisis or recognition. When the hero finally sees the truth they've been denying, that's the therapeutic breakthrough we all seek. These plays were community events, allowing for a shared emotional experience, which is the same function modern group therapy serves today. Many Greek heroes journey to Hades and return. This is the psychology of depression and recovery. Heroes like Odysseus, Heracles, and Persephone descend into the underworld, the realm of shadows and hidden things. Psychologically, this represents the dark night of the soul, confronting our shadow selves and repressed memories. The psychologist Carl Jung said you must descend before you can transcend. Growth requires facing what you've hidden. Persephone's story, being abducted to the underworld but returning to the surface seasonally, perfectly captures cycles of depression and the integration of our light and dark sides. Research on post-traumatic growth confirms that confronting darkness often produces a wisdom that living only in the light cannot. Orpheus's journey to retrieve his dead wife shows us the pain of grief. He loses her by looking back, a powerful metaphor for the inability to let go. The underworld journey is about meeting our shadow. The goal isn't just the descent, but the return, bringing the wisdom of the underworld back to the surface. It's about integrating difficult experiences, which studies show leads to far better outcomes than suppression. Greek myths constantly explore the tension between fate and free will. The three fates spun, measured, and cut the thread of life, representing a destiny beyond our control. Yet, heroes always had to choose how to respond. Look at Oedipus. He tries to escape the prophecy that he'll kill his father and marry his mother, but his very attempts to avoid his fate are what cause it to happen. The psychological insight here is profound. What you resist persists. Trying to suppress unwanted thoughts or experiences often makes them stronger. The psychological balance the Greeks understood is that some things are fated, like our genetics or childhood, but we always have a choice in how we respond. The famous Serenity Prayer captures this perfectly. Accept what you cannot change, change what you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. The Stoic philosophy of amor fati, loving your fate, is about actively embracing your life and circumstances. Research shows this attitude predicts greater resilience and life satisfaction. So, how can we use this ancient wisdom today? First, know your dominant archetype. Are you too much Athena, all thinking and no feeling, or too much Aries, always fighting? Awareness allows for balance. Second, honor your shadow. Your aggression, your jealousy, your vanity, they are all part of you. Denying them just gives them more power. Acknowledging them gives you a choice. Third, when life gets hard, see it as your hero's journey. The resistance you feel is normal. Guidance will appear, and transformation is the goal. Try processing your life through story. Journal as if it's a dialogue between the different gods within you. And finally, balance the Apollonian order and reason with the Dionysian chaos and emotion. You need both structure and release, thinking and feeling, to live a full life. The ancient Greeks didn't have our scientific tools, but they had a profound understanding of human nature. Their myths map our universal archetypes, our developmental journeys, and the complexities of our inner world. Modern psychology has given these ancient insights new names and scientific validation. Jung said, the gods have become diseases. When someone struggles with anger management, that's Aries. Perfectionism is Apollo. Addiction is Dionysus. The solution, then and now, is the same. Recognize the pattern, integrate the opposite, and find balance. The wisdom from Delphi, know thyself and nothing in excess. These aren't just old sayings. They are psychological principles for a better life. The Greek gods never died. They live in our psyches. The question is, will we be unconscious actors in their dramas, or will we become the conscious authors of our own story? Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the mind valuable, please like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the psychology of our world. See you next time.